This is the Space Shot, episode 38 for June 21st, 2017. SpaceShipOne. Hey everyone, welcome to the Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. On this day in 2004, the scaled composites built SpaceShipOne was launched into a suborbital flight that took it into space. The flight was the first privately funded human spaceflight in history, marking the end of just over 4 decades of only governments being able to send humans into space. At 7:50 a.m., SpaceShipOne released from the White Knight carrier aircraft at 47,000 feet and ignited its solid rocket motor. SpaceShipOne had a top speed of over 2,100 miles an hour that was achieved after a 76-second burn from the single solid rocket engine that powered the spaceplane. During this flight and the climb into space, SpaceShipOne experienced some attitude problems, that is, an unexpected roll that caused the craft to suddenly lurch to the left and then back to the right when the pilot tried to correct it. In the launch video, you can hear the launch commentators say, "Oh no," and that is not a scripted maneuver. I'll link to the video of the launch in the show notes, so be sure to check the video out. Mike Melville became the first private astronaut in history after this record-breaking flight. For the first flight, he piloted SpaceShipOne up to 100,124 meters, just passing the 100-kilometer or 62-mile boundary that's the internationally recognized boundary of space. After just a few minutes of weightlessness, Mike Melville began the re-entry procedure to come back for landing. SpaceShipOne and now SpaceShipTwo both have a unique feathered, what they call shuttlecock design that allows the craft to increase drag on the plane, allowing it to be oriented in the correct position for re-entry to Earth. The launches of SpaceShipOne were made possible by the White Knight carrier aircraft, which carried the spaceplane to altitude before releasing it. This is similar to how the X-15 was launched. It was carried to altitude by a B-52, then released for the rocket-powered portion of the flight. Both the White Knight and SpaceShipOne were designed by famed designer Burt Rutan of Scaled Composites. He has designed some of the most visually striking aircraft over the years, from the futuristic Beechcraft 2000 Starship to the massive Stratolaunch carrier aircraft, which has a wingspan of 385 feet, which is about 1 1/3 lengths of a football field. The Stratolaunch carrier will send a rocket into orbit, allowing for the delivery of small-sized payloads on what is hoped a more frequent schedule than traditional launch providers. Also of note, Stratolaunch is a venture that was founded by Paul G. Allen, who also helped fund the original SpaceShipOne missions. Now for a quick bit of space shuttle history. On this day in 1993, the shuttle Endeavour launched from Pad 39B at Kennedy Space Center. The STS-57 mission had astronauts studying the properties of fluids being transferred in weightlessness to examine how spacecraft could be refueled in orbit. During the mission, astronauts also took photographs of each other to document the 1 to 2 inch lengthening of the human spine that occurs during spaceflight. Studying the long-term effects of lower gravity, like the surface of Mars, or microgravity environments like the International Space Station, is critical for NASA. Tomorrow and Friday, I'm going to go into more detail about Sally Ride and her missions, as well as covering a little bit more about Valentina Tereshkova. Thank you all for listening to the show. Please consider leaving a review or rating the podcast on iTunes and Google Play Music. If you know anyone that loves history, space, or pop culture, please share the Space Shot on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere you connect with your friends and family. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.